Figures out today suggest it could be getting easier to find a job in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire, but not if you are over 50. Whilst unemployment generally is falling, there are claims tonight that age discrimination is holding back older workers. The monthly jobless figures show that in Yorkshire and the Humber there are 174,000 people out of work. That's a fall of 3,000 in the last 3 months. In the East Midlands, which includes Lincolnshire, 112,000 people are out of work. That's also a fall of 3,000. But as our business correspondent Sarah Corkin now reports, research shows that you are much less likely to get a permanent job if you are aged over 50.
From retail to construction to manufacturing, in our area more people are in work. A slight fall in unemployment today. But look closer at the figures and other trends emerge.
Nearly 5 years in April, I've applied for about 150, 200 jobs.
If you're a jobless 50-something like Andrew Graham from Hull, research shows you're far less likely to find a job than any other age group.
I'll be 16 February. I think it's ageism. I think it's going on. It makes me angry and annoyed, and it does make me sad because there's people out there in Hull like me who would like to work and they have a lot to give.
Andrew used to work in IT, but says he had to dumb down his CV and was only able to find temporary work. According to one estimate, if businesses tapped into the potential of older workers, it could boost the economy by 88 billion. So is there ageism in the workplace? Are employers wasting the talents of the over 50s? Or are older workers the victims of their own inflexibility? These skills workshops are specifically aimed at the 50 plus in East Yorkshire and challenge outdated stereotypes.
Making assumptions about when people are older, about that they're going to be off sick. In fact, actually, all the research shows it's younger people who are the ones pulling sickies on Mondays and Fridays, and it's about employers thinking that they're not going to stay in work for a long time. Actually, if you take somebody on at 50, 55, you're probably going to get 15 years out of that.
Nationally, 23% of people claiming job seekers allowance are aged between 50 and 64. In the East Riding, that figure's higher at 24%. In Lincolnshire and East Lindsey, it's the same number, while in South Kesteven, a quarter of job seekers are over 50. B&Q has been actively recruiting older workers since the 90s.
The older workforce are very reliable and contribute to the business because customers appreciate their level of experience. There is no upper limit.
The government says the picture for the over 50s is improving.
We've seen some very positive news in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. We have seen growth in employment for the over 50s, and employers, and I am a former employer myself, recognise the value that they can bring to an organisation with experience.
But fed up of the rejection letters, Andrew set up his own photography business with the help of a job centre grant, creating his own job rather than relying on others. Sarah Corkin, BBC Look North.
Be asking for your views on this one in just a moment, but first, Marion Shourd has written books on issues faced by older people. I asked her earlier why she thinks the over 50s are struggling more than any other age group at the moment when it comes to finding work.
Well, I think although 50 isn't old, a lot of potential employers think that anyone over 50 is old or is going to be a less good employee than somebody younger. And of course, if you take on somebody who's 50, they'll probably get older. And I think there's a lot of inbuilt ageism in our society anyway.
Yes, I was just going to say, we've just seen Andrew in our film there. He says there is ageism. I mean, is there in 2015? Is it still rife?
I think it is. I mean, in all sorts of walks of life, you just go down the street, you've got ageism, you meet somebody. If they think you're old, they think all sorts of things about you, which they wouldn't think about a younger person. And so people in that sort of older age group, as far as working is concerned, often desperately trying to make themselves look younger.
But are the over 50s being discriminated against, or is it their imagination?
I I think they are being discriminated against. I mean, it's quite hard to prove it, but I mean, even the figures that came out today involve a certain amount of age discrimination because they only relate to unemployment up to the age of 64. Now, there are a lot of people over the age of 64
Absolutely.
who want to work for all sorts of reasons. It's not just money necessarily, but work brings, you know, a social world. It brings perks like using the photocopier.
Absolutely,
It brings
absolutely.
a sense of your own self-worth because somebody's paying you for your activities.
And just briefly, what about somebody like Andrew, who we've just seen in the film there, who is looking for work and over 50? Best advice to them is what?
Well, I always think the National Careers Service is awfully useful. I mean, people tend to think that that's for sort of school leavers and younger people. It's not. And they will interview you, they'll help you with your CV, you can go back for follow-up advice after interviews, and it's all on a one-to-one basis. It's all free. And they give you tips, you know, like in the application, don't volunteer that you've got 30 years experience in something,
Well,
because the potential employer will immediately think, aha, this is an old person.
well, that's very good advice, but very, very sad that ageism is still alive today in 2015, isn't it? Very, very sad indeed.
It is. It's very deep-seated, I think.
Very good to talk to you, Marion. Thank you very much indeed.
Great pleasure.
I'll be keen to hear your views on this one. If you've struggled to find work, if you are over 50, maybe you're looking at the moment, maybe an employer and have experience of employing older people, your views on this one, especially if you are over 50 and you are looking for work at the moment, your views on this one. Do you think that ageism is out there? Have you got examples of ageism? There's the email address as usual, looknorth@bbc.co.uk. The text number is 81333. As always, start the text with the word Look North or follow me on Twitter, Peter_Levy. Tweet now, ageism. We'll have some of your stories before we finish at 7 o'clock. More than £1 million